All right, so first, this is our very first session, and the way we'll go about is that every Friday we'll have a 30 to 40 minutes conversation that will be, and I expect that to be an interactive session. And it is not going only to be led by me, it will also be led by people like you. You can also volunteer to present one of the topics because it is a study group, so it has to be this is not training, so this is more of a discussion study group where you can share your experiences if you have already worked on that cloud. If not, you can learn from it, you can ask questions. I mean, you can also share your experiences if you have discovered anything around any topic, and it will be the other way around from me as well. So, and I will not be the only one who will be presenting on this on these sessions, or driving these sessions. It will be a community that will be driving the session. So today I'm presenting. Next week there might be some other volunteer who might be presenting it. So that's how it will go on. So we'll keep on publishing it on weekly basis, that what is the topic for the next week and who is going to be the presenter for it, right? And if you're willing to present something, do let me know and we can figure out that what and when you can present. So this is going to be a week on week basis case study group. Okay, so to start with communications cloud, I'm not too sure actually if you guys have an understanding of what it is. Maybe if you can just put up your uh, put up some answers around these questions. So, when was Velocity founded? If you can speak up, you can unmute yourself and speak up about that. Anyone wants to talk about it? Velocity, when was it founded? Is it an app exchange tool or not? Um, and when was it acquired by Salesforce? Okay, so I'll just tell you that Velocity was founded, I think, in 2014, and it is an app exchange tool. Now it is kind of moving on to a common cloud consensus within Salesforce itself. So it is kind of getting generalized now, just like Marketing Cloud or Sales Cloud, Service Cloud that you see. So soon it will be kind of available as per the license shortly. Uh, when uh, when was it acquired? It was acquired between 2019 to 20, and by in last 3 years, it is still being used as a managed package on Salesforce. But as I said, on the roadmap, they do have plans to move it and standardize it in Salesforce. And the key features, yes, so that is the topic for today. So we'll talk about it. Uh, so let's look at that why communications cloud is required, or why a specific cloud is required rather, right? So in Salesforce, basically we have, this is to the best of my knowledge, that we do have the modules which are there for doing sales, doing service, and a lot more features around it, right? But then what makes it special for communications industry, right? So communications industry actually follows a standard framework which comes from the TM forum. And to adhere to that, there are a lot of complex data structure that needs to be created. And there is a need for pre-built modules because the processes are different, the processes are complex. It needs to be kind of, if we start building it upfront, it will take some time to get there to build that architecture and all. So that is the reason that a special cloud is required, where basically we say that this cloud comes pre-built with pre-built package with pre-built processes and the pre-built data model around that, and hence the need for the special communications cloud. Okay, and it does adhere to the ETOM mapping and the telecom management framework mapping basically, and that makes it different and special for the communications cloud. So that is where the need for special cloud arises for the communications industry. Now the domain is quite vast. It does cover B2B, B2C, or different customer segments. It has SME segment, it has wholesale segment. So if you look at the kind of processes that are involved in these different domains, there again, as I said earlier, there is a need for having some pre-built processes around this. Now, how a B2B process would be different from B2C? From B2C, it will be more like in B2B, there has to be a personalized attention given to a particular large client because these are like large enterprise clients that you work with and you provide your services to. So in that case, there is a specific account manager, a specific sales manager aligned to the B2B customers who work on their specific quotation needs and take care of the entire requirement that the B2B customers would have, right? So that is how, that is the reason that you need to have an elaborate process where you are working on an opportunity for its conversion into an order, right? So, for example, if I say in telco industry, a B2B customer would be large enterprises like, say, Accenture, Wipro, TCS, who are looking to set up their network systems for their different offices. So now, if they open up their office in one location within Pune and they want to open another office in another location in Pune, they need to have their network alignment there, and that is where that becomes an opportunity for the service provider. So if it is TCS, it will go for an internal thing. So Tata Communications would be their service provider primarily, for example. So, but still, Tata Communications will have a source of, for them, TCS would be one customer or Accenture would be one customer. And then they would have an account manager aligned to it who will study the requirement, who will study that what kind of quote is required, and then build a journey around that. So that's the difference. Now, B2C is simple, like, so the customers would be like you and me, where we are talking about large data sets and large customers. Large customer base or volume of the customers would be higher. But the products would be simpler in the sense that there are like daily offers or there are monthly offers, postpaid plan, prepaid plan, which are kind of keep on running, right? So you get say your fiber plus internet connectivity for $1,000 per month, right? So it is straightforward. It is a pre-packaged deal, which you get it for rental or you get it for a prepaid value. But your customer acquisition is faster in that case, and the turnaround time needs to be low, right? So that is where the process would vary for a B2B versus a B2C. You will have a manager aligned, but then he will not be kind of 100% focused to you only. It will be more like a set of area. It will be more like an area manager who would be catering to thousands of customers in that particular area. So that is the difference between the different kind of customer segments that you deal with and the need for different type of business processes for managing the quotations and all. Any questions anyone has so far?
Hmm.
All right. All right. So different features of Communications Cloud are primarily the enterprise product catalog, customer 360-degree views, where you have pre-built consoles available, where from where say it is similar to what you have on Service Console or the Sales Cloud Console, just that there would be additional widgets specifically for the customer information for telco. So for example, if you open up your My Geo app on your phone or My Airtel app on your phone, right? So you are directly able to uh, recharge from there. So there are like add-on packages or recharge button available, action available from that screen itself, from the home screen itself. And if you log in as an agent, as a service agent or a sales agent, you get the entire console. And on customer request, from that, you will have set of actions aligned from where again you can recharge on behalf of the customer or give an add-on pack. So that is the use of the customer 360 views in Communications Cloud. Then I think, yeah, CPQ or the guided journey. So I think nowadays you can build guided journey for anything using the Omni scripts as it is part of the Omni Studio now. But here you get pre-built guided journeys within Salesforce, within Communications Cloud. So these are more like the new order journeys or the change order journeys, which we call MACDs. Or you can say you can do a cancel order, you can do an amend order, right? So these are like different kind of processes which are pre-built and available as part of the Communications Cloud feature list. Order capture, yes, you can do the order capture. You can convert your quote into an order. And it's interesting to know that Salesforce has actually removed their quote to order conversion from general sales cloud. So if you have a quote, uh, the quote and order are independent entities in normal sales cloud unless you attach or install another CPQ. So be it Salesforce CPQ Aptors or Velocity CPQ, you won't get a quote to order conversion feature on standard Sales Cloud. You will have to build it using flows or something to do that. Order management is part of your order orchestration, and also you can do that. Order management is a separate module again, and that allows you to build task list for the downstream systems, right? So that is the order management part. And then the TM forum open API. So as I said initially, it is the Communications Cloud data model and everything and the processes are all aligned to the TM forum standards. And that is where you have different process libraries available for different open APIs. So 622, 645 are some of the examples, which are more for, say, service qualification and product ordering APIs. If you search for Google for TMF 622, you will find what it is. And it's a standard API used by CRM, not just CRM, but billing system, but order system or any other system who is trying to do ordering in order creation in X system or an incoming order for from the Y system, right? So those are the key features. Let's look at a simple business flow. So this we know lead account opportunity. This is part of the standard Sales Cloud. So when you buy Communications Cloud, you get Sales Cloud packaged in that. In that license. Proposal quote and order asset. So the correlation between that, so quote and order are already out of the box standard objects, but the correlation between these four things are four objects is what you get as part of specifically as part of the CPQ. Then after sales, you do the case tracking, service management and all, and we already discussed the customer 360 view and console reports, dashboards, and these are like these are the key part of the velocity CPQ part, right? So this essentially forms the heart of the system where you are able to do your product catalog management, quoting, and order management. Okay. Anything that you want to discuss on this topic? All right, so let's move to the next topic then. Yeah, so let's look at a very simple high level architecture. So the boxes in the purple one, these are like high level standard objects which are available. But what you additionally get as part of the Velocity CPQ or Communications Cloud are these are high level, basic based objects, I would say custom objects which are there, and there are like lots aligned below that. So there is a whole set of product pricing and rules, custom objects which are built as the multi-layer architecture in that, right? So it's part of the data model. But if we consider this part to be the center or heart of the system, so that's where heart of the CRM, where you are interacting on top with different channels via self-care or mobile or web login and all those. And at the bottom, you are interacting with the different systems, as in billing, finance, inventory. There will be also order management systems with the service order management systems, and there will be provisioning systems, and many other systems might be there depending on. I mean, the architecture varies on the integration front from organization to organization. So at a very high level, this is the architecture that we generally look at. And again, I mean, the top layer also varies depending on the requirement of that particular customer. So one business case, I think I already explained you one similar case when say a service provider is trying to provide services to a B2B customer, say Accenture, TCS, or something like that. So similarly, you can consider Alpha Connect also to be one of the service providers who is trying to sell their products on intranet and wireless connectivity. Um, Sorry, they're looking for these um, connectivity products for establishing for their three office locations. So that's where what we'll have to do is basically build the codes for these three separate codes for these three different locations, and put it as part of one single, I would say, piece of paper where we are trying to share three invoices for the three codes for the three different locations, and then you get the uh, approval on these, right? So because if you see why three different codes are required, because if you see the requirements for the three locations are different, right? So that makes a bit of difference when we are trying to generate the code. So every code will have different code line items, different product attached to it, and maybe a different quantity also. And that's where the pricing would vary. Again, the pricing is location dependent. So maybe Mumbai will have a different price charges, Pune will have some different price charges for that, right? So that actually makes these three codes different, and that is what you can handle as part of your code generation process in Communications Cloud. Yeah, so the key challenges, I mean, these are top three that I've mentioned, but there are many more while you're working on Communications Cloud industry with the telco products. So if imagine, I mean, if we go for this scenario again, right? So this is like one kind of business line we have talked about, where we are saying that there is an intranet and wireless connectivity product. Now, think of other product, maybe on the fiber category, or think of another product which is, say, the broadband, the copper broadband, or say a landline connectivity, right? So those are like different lines of businesses again, and or the product lines basically. So all of them generally have different kind of processes to be followed. So if you take an example of large telco service providers, right? So who are trying to manage their customers using Salesforce CRM. So if we take an example, say Airtel, so what kind of, if you can, I think, as an exercise, just go back and search the website of Airtel or Tata Communications or Geo, and see what are the different kind of products they have, right? So if you recall the initial slides, right? So we have B2B, B2C, SME, wholesale. So all of these companies, so Geo will also have their presence in B2B, B2C, wholesale, SME segments, and there would be different offerings for them. There would be different pricing for them. There would be different products for these different domains. And if I have to build an everything in CRM, in one single CRM, in one single org, there is bound to be, I mean, the challenges actually come there, where we are trying to have one single org defining the processes around all these categories for these different product lines, and then aligning them to the CRM stream, right? So, having said that, that is like one key challenge that I have faced. If you are aware of anyone, you can also talk about it, and happy to learn from you on that. Um, then one other thing is that the design around this. So when you are actually trying to build a design around these different product lines, again it becomes challenging because there the things go haywire because you are trying to cater to a different category of business users who come with a different mindset. You cannot say yes to everything. So you have to find out a common path, and that's where the key challenges come in, right? So these are the few key items that I wanted to cover. Uh, just one last thing around the best practices, right? So, um, yeah, sorry, I missed the integration. So yeah, so these three were basically the important aspects from my perspective, which I wanted to share with everyone. Integrations, yes, definitely, because though we have standards, though we have standard defined for from the TM forum, still, when we start doing the integrations, again, based on the kind of business processes we are aligning to, there there is a lot of difference that follows, right? So again, that becomes a challenging path when you are trying to design and implement. So those were the three main things that I have figured out so far. From the best practices perspective, there are different best practices that we follow in terms of EPC, CPQ, and order management. The coding and the architecture remains constant across Salesforce. So when we say coding, it will have to follow all the nomenclatures that coding is required for, that is required for Apex coding or LWC level coding and things like that. So that is like standard that needs to be followed. Architecture level best practices, again, we should follow, try to follow well architected solutions and well architected principles for the architectural best practices. I'll put the links around in there in here to and so that it is kind of available for everyone. EPC and CPQ, again, though there are standards, naming conventions, everything is mentioned. So what you need to follow for the product attribute. So the naming conventions are separate. They are all available. I'll put up the links for that. But from my perspective, when we are trying to, it's more about the design on the EPC end and at the CPQ end. So according to I mean, in my opinion, basically when we are trying to build an EPC module, we need to think about the end picture, how your end product would look like, how you're going to do the selling, and how you're going to place an order. So backtrack from there and put it in the EPC, because otherwise, when you are doing it in silos and not thinking about how the end picture would be, you might end up doing a lot of changes, coming back and redo some of the stuff. So we need to think from that perspective and then build the product accordingly. So having a, a design pattern identified for your product structure is important, and that primarily comes from how you're going to order it. Again, in the CPQ side, how you're going to build your codes around that, how is your journey, customer journey oriented, and that's where your design basically follows. So apart from the standard conventions and all that you need to follow, you need to think about the design patterns and anti patterns, that how it is going to break your system. So that's where the things actually get aligned. So I'll be putting up the links for these there. So I think this is all about it for today's topic. So guys, anyone has anything to share here, you can talk about it now, or ask questions, or share your experiences.
And can I ask you something?
Yeah, sure.
I know when the voucher is releasing for the month of for
Sorry.
Salesforce. When the voucher is, updating for certification purpose.
Voucher, I'm not too sure actually. These days, they have stopped giving the vouchers. You have to attend the partner days and specific sessions from conducted by Salesforce during the partner and the developer days, and that's where they issue the vouchers to the participants only. There are no vouchers available these days.
Thank
Yeah. Any questions
Uh,
related to Communications Cloud or your experience that you want to
act-
share?
yes, Monica. Actually, have some like as per my understanding about a CPQ, I just got one thought about CPQ is that as you already shared one example regarding that telecommunication, right? So I just thought
Hmm.
that pricing strategy is quite difficult and configuration is also one of the big challenges while like covering different customer at a different area, right?
Right. Right. Definitely.
Yeah.
So that,
Mhm.
yeah. So pricing is definitely a big challenge which is there because for different business lines, again, the type of pricing that you do is different. So for some, it may be usage-based pricing. For some, it will be unit-based pricing. So for some, it will be a standard-based price plus the MRC, NRCs, and all. And for some, it might be like subscription-based, or it may be an attribute-based pricing. So it depends from product to product again. So that is where I said, so the challenge is there because when you are dealing with multiple product lines, everyone will have their own side of story. That I use Excel and it is so simple to do it in there. But we don't need to look at that we are not translating your Excel sheet into the system, right? Um, we are more like standardizing the process across the organization. So we should look from that perspective.
Right, right. Because like making a quotation and sending it to the like customer across over a globe, it is like quite difficult because as area wise the things parameter are gonna impact on a product price, right? So this will gonna be
Right.
whole change. So this is like a tough hectic. I just like curious now how Salesforce CPQ will deal with these challenges. How this will overcome.
Yes. So have you worked on Salesforce CPQ or anyone in the group has have they worked on Salesforce CPQ?
No, me
You
not.
can share your okay. Anyone else has worked on Salesforce CPQ because I have not worked and I would be interested to hear that part of the story as well. So maybe sort of what we can do is I'll try to figure out someone, or if you have anyone in your knowledge who has done
Yes, yes.
something on Salesforce CPQ and understands that, let's bring
Mhm.
them to the forum, right? It's a
Sure,
group,
sure.
so it's open for discussion, and let's have these points compared with the Salesforce CPQ as well. How do they do
Yes,
it in
yes.
Salesforce CPQ?
Mm. Definitely, definitely. I have some folks who in contact with me, so I'll definitely ask them regarding the same
Yeah.
session. Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
no worries.
Surely.
Thanks.
Yeah. Most welcome. All right. Anyone wants to share anything? I see some people joined a little late. So for them, again, let me just quickly share the agenda that we'll be carrying throughout the sessions. So, and most of you, some of you were also not there as part of the first session, right? So I'll just reshare the agenda. Yeah, hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So, guys, this is a study group and this is open for all. This is not a training, so it is open for discussion. So, the person who is speaking, it's we should not leave him in silos or him or her in silos and let her or him talk only. You can contribute. It's a study group, so we should be discussing about that. Are there any architecture level challenges on these clouds or any features that you think are not covered and you want to tell and you have experience on that, and even if you have not experienced, you have read about it, you can surely share that with all the people on the forum, right? And this will be kind of a closed community group that will be there. So it is for the community and built by the community, right? So today we have covered the features of Communications Cloud. And if you're interested, we can do one more session on Communications Cloud, maybe deep diving on that. But let's try to build more on the other clouds as well. So next week, we'll cover Health Cloud with the high level features and any common issues, challenges, and all. But Health Cloud is also a big, vast topic. So if anyone wants to present anything on any of these clouds, most more than welcome. And reach out to your network as well. So the pattern would be basically we'll be covering the topics around the architecture, features supported, common issues and challenges, and any best practices